Welcome. This is the 2022 CWSA Online WRS Series Drop and 45 format event writers meeting. My name is John Shields and I will be the head judge for this event. My email address is on the screen should you have any questions following this writers meeting. This writers meeting will consist of an event overview, information about registration and upload, specific video requirements necessary for this event. I'll cover basic event rules and what is expected of you. Let's first talk about the event level and where information about the event level can be found. Event 2 is a bronze level WRS event. Event 3 is a silver level WRS event, and Event 5 is a gold level World Series of Wakesurfing event. Both the WRS and World Series of Wakesurfing events qualify for WRS points and ranking. The two WRS events do not meet the attendance requirements of the World Wakesurfing Championship qualification criteria. The gold level World Series of Wakesurfing event does meet one of the attendance requirements to qualify to compete in the World Wakesurfing Championship. Full details on how you qualify for to compete in the World Wakesurfing Championship can be found on the CWSA website under the About Us pull-down menu. Information on each event can be found on that individual event page on the CWSA website. Simply go to the calendar list of events, find the particular event that you have an interest in, click that event, and full details about the event, including the rules, whether it's a WRS or World Series event, all of those details can be found on each individual event webpage on the CWSA website. In addition to the event level and its impact on qualifying for the World Wakesurfing Championship, there are also differences in these events for the Pro Cash Purse for the Pro divisions. For the bronze level event, it is variable and depends on the total number of registrations. For silver level events, the total maximum purse is $5,000 for all divisions, or $1,250 per division. For gold level events, the purse is a maximum total of $10,000 or $2,500 per division. For the non-pro skill levels, podium and other prizes will be determined and depend on the total number of entries. Be assured that we're going to be giving podium awards for first, second, and third for all divisions. One important thing that you need to keep in mind on these online events is that we have a valid delivery address for you. So please update your profile with a current and valid mail delivery address so that when awards are sent to you, you will actually receive them. Keep in mind for all of these events that entries will be limited and will be on a first-come, first-served basis. How does the Drop in 45 format event work? You need to register for the event before the video submission deadline. You may register dual, that is, in both a surf and a skim division. You and wakesurf athletes in your division all over the world will film your 45-second run behind your boat at your lake or on your river or in your sea. You will upload your video by the deadline. You can find the link to upload your video in the My Event Registrations tab in your athlete profile. You can upload multiple videos, however, only your last upload will be used. Do not label your upload with words like final, last, or revised, as this may cause confusion as to what video to use. We will look simply to this timestamp, the upload timestamp, for any video submitted. The last or most current of those will be used. After all competitors have uploaded their videos, the running order will be published. The divisions will be judged by CWSA trained judge team volunteers from more than 25 countries. The results will be published on the CWSA website, and videos of all runs will also be posted on the CWSA YouTube channel. So, where do you upload your video? Well, this is a screenshot of what your athlete page should look like. You'll notice that there's a section under in your profile when you're logged in that says athlete, and it refers to event registrations. You click that tab. When you go to your event registrations, you'll see a tab called My Event Registrations. Under that tab, you will notice your Drop-In 45 event that you've entered in. On the right, in the right-hand column, you will see a click here to submit your video entry link. Click that. You'll be redirected to a Dropbox video upload link. Upload your video and your placard using that link. That link remains active throughout the entire time that prior to the submission deadline. If you go to upload an additional file, use that specific link to upload it. Event details, we'll talk about deadlines now. First of all, your video must be current. That is, it must be taken within the date range that can be found on the individual event webpage on the CWSA website. Your video submission cannot be previously posted on any social media platform. That is, you cannot post it on a social media platform at any time before that video is released in the event on the CWSA website and its YouTube channel. When do you have to upload your video? There is a submission deadline for each event, and that deadline is found on the individual event page on the CWSA website. Please note, late submissions will not be accepted. Your running order will be posted 5 days after the submission deadline. In addition to that, the dates for results publication, which will be on the CWSA website, and YouTube publication of all the videos in this particular, any of these particular events, can be found on the individual event page on the CWSA website. Again, the results will be posted on the CWSA website on that individual event webpage, and the videos of all runs will be posted on the CWSA YouTube channel at roughly the same time. Those dates are on each individual event web page on our website. So, what else do you need to be mindful of? You need to submit a placard. And a placard is a short video or still photograph that includes the placard, that is a written thing with your name, division, date of the video creation, and this must appear either at the beginning of the video or be appended to the beginning of your video. The placard must be legible. It must be written in English, and it must use the following date format: month/day/year. The placard may be handwritten or it may be digital. The video or still photograph must also show your full board, including your fin set. The athlete's face must be visible. It is also acceptable to submit the placard as a separate still photograph or a separate short placard video. Again, these will be uploaded together with your competition run using that Dropbox upload link that we discussed earlier. So what does a placard look like? This is a good example. Note the board on the right hand side. You can see the fin. Note the athlete's face, clearly visible. And note the information on the placard: the athlete's name, the division, and the date. Here's another example using a printed placard. Note the face is clearly visible, the board and the fin is clearly visible, and the name of the athlete, the division, and the date is clearly visible and legible. This is a bad placard. There are good components to it, but a critical piece of data is missing. The face, very good, clearly visible. The board and the fin set, clearly visible. The problem with this one is the placard. It is digital, but it's on the phone. It's not readily visible, or clearly visible, or easy to read. What this will require is that we have to enlarge the video and scrutinize it to make sure that we are naming the video correctly and that the correct athlete is being judged. Try and do a placard similar to the first two. All three of these, though, were proper with regard to the face and the board. So how about your competition run? Your run will be judged starting with the first maneuver after dropping the rope and will end 45 seconds or upon gaining control of the last maneuver started within the 45-second time frame and within a reasonable amount of time. You can figure that's not going to be any more than 5 seconds. If you fall before the 45 seconds, that will terminate your run. Please note that transfers are permitted, and please also note that the rope drop must be clearly visible in your video. The rope drop is the drop in 45 equivalent to the start buoy. If the judge team cannot see the start buoy, they don't know when the run begins, and you will be disqualified. So, what else do you need to know about your run? Well, a personal flotation device is mandatory. It is required, and it must be visible to the judging team in the video. You may not do a drop-in, a toe-in, deck start, deck exits, or have intentional contact with the towboat. Those acts will result in disqualification. Likewise, if your PDF, your personal flotation device, is not visible, you will be disqualified. The video must show the rope drop behind the competition boat. Again, if the rope drop is not visible, not clearly visible, then you will be disqualified. Your face must be visible in the video. Care should be taken when filming your video that you do not film into the sun, as this may result in your face not being visible in your video. you'll be shadowed, and it will make it also more difficult for the judge teams to evaluate your performance, even if they can see your face. Filming into the sun also makes for a very poor quality video. These competitions are an opportunity for every one of you to showcase your skills, so do a decent quality video so the world can see what you can lay down. If you're wearing a mask because it is required in your local jurisdiction because of COVID regulations, that will not result in disqualification. However, in that case, your face must still be visible in the placard that you submit with your video. A couple of more things about video format. It's a minimum of 1080p resolution, landscape only orientation. And this is very important because if you submit in portrait orientation, you will likely be disqualified. If your video speed must be 1:1, don't speed it up, don't slow it down. Logos or advertising are not permitted. That is, logos on the video. Of course, you may have, many athletes have various product logos on, as stickers on their boards. That's okay. But other advertising logos are not acceptable. You must submit the raw video with no edits. And no edits includes, you may not mute or delete the soundtrack. You may append a video or still placard at the beginning of your run before the rope drop, and that will not be considered editing. But from the point of the rope drop forward, you may not edit your video in any way. Don't use an app to append your placard to your video. The use of an app may be considered an edit. The app, as it changes characteristics of the original video. The app may also insert brand or advertising logos related to that app into the video, which is not permitted and will result in disqualification. The app may also render the video into an incompatible video format. You may be able to see it on your iPhone, but we may not be able to render it properly to include it in the competition routine. That may result in disqualification as well. Please optimize your video upload. If you upload directly from your mobile device, you risk the upload being in a very compressed and low quality file. Show your skills with a high quality video upload, and if that means that you have to wait until you get home that day to upload, that's fine. Just make sure you meet the video submission deadline. So what do we mean by landscape orientation? This is an example of landscape orientation. It is wider than it is tall. Okay. This is portrait orientation, will result in disqualification. And something else I want to point out to you. There's a rope right in the middle of that video. That's going to detract from your video, detract from your showing your skills to the world. Don't do that. Have somebody pull that rope out of the way. And don't submit in portrait orientation. What about the rules for these competitions? Well, the provisions of our competition guidelines, which have recently been updated, version 4.0, will apply with certain modifications for this event only. Well, for these series of online events only. A full list of the rule details are available on the event webpage. Disregard that specific video or webpage link. Go to the specific page for the event that you are competing in. The most relevant rule modifications are the course layout, being a single 45-second pass without a buoy. A fall ends the run if it occurs prior to the 45-second mark. Transfers will be permitted. The run shall start beginning with the first maneuver after dropping the rope and will end after 45 seconds or upon gaining control of the last maneuver started within the 45-second time frame and ending within a reasonable amount of time, not more than 5 seconds. If you fall before 45 seconds expires from the rope drop, it will end the run. Part 11 does not apply. Part 11 is the pre-event objection and the post-result protest provisions. They are suspended for the purposes of these online video events. Make sure that you're wearing a personal flotation device, otherwise you'll be disqualified. Confirm your equipment, your board, in proper condition. We have added some new rules, and I implore each of you to take a look at them. They are found at Part 3.1G and H, which prohibits the use of any electronic device permitting communication between someone and the competitor while on course. We have also added a rule that prohibits coaching at any time during your competition run in all event formats. This is a new rule, and the rules can be found under the About Us section of our website. Note that Part 4.2D, dealing with swimsuit bottoms, will apply to all events in the 2022 season, and be sure that your board is compliant under rule or part 14.2a. I mentioned no coaching. Please take a look at part 9.1.3a 8 and 9, which prohibits coaching. And finally, your video may not contain any profanity, profane or sexual gestures, no nudity, and no alcoholic beverages. I wanted to cover rule part 4.2D, dealing with swimsuit bottoms, that will result in disqualification. There is no ability to correct this, especially if you submit your video close to the deadline. So it is important that you understand what you may not do or what you may do here. You must wear a swimsuit bottom of decent appearance, number one, and number two, it must completely cover your buttocks. In live events, this can be cured by putting on a pair of board shorts if it looks like your swimwear is not compliant. In online events, you submit your video, and the deadline may come and pass prior to anyone noticing that you have failed to comply with a rule. So if you don't comply with it, you will likely be disqualified. What is the buttocks? The buttocks is the area from the top of the hips to that point on the leg where the gluteus maximus muscle meets the top of the leg. Example number one is an example of a compliant swimsuit bottom. Examples 2 and 3 are non-compliant swimwear. The example on the left is compliant. The example is not compliant. Let me repeat that. The example on the left is not compliant. The example on the right is compliant. This applies to men also. Remember the requirement for decent appearance. Your Speedo is not considered decent appearance. Please wear some board shorts or something else. Also be mindful as a gentleman that if your buttocks are not covered, you will also be disqualified. So finally, what are your responsibilities? You are responsible to be familiar with the competition rules and follow those rules. Your responsible to use compliant and safe equipment, to follow the event rules, and to submit your video by the deadline. Most of our event deadlines are at 11 p.m. or 2300 hours Eastern Time. Don't wait until a minute before the deadline to begin your upload. That Dropbox link is set to automatically close at the deadline, and it will close even though you are in the process of uploading a file. So don't wait until the last minute, especially if you have a slow internet connection. If your video does not fully upload by 2300 or whatever the deadline is as set forth on the individual web page, it will not be considered timely. It will not be accepted. Be mindful that there are no refunds due to your failure to upload your video by the deadline. So give yourself a little time. Familiarize yourself with the location of the upload link prior to the deadline. Finally, if you have any questions, you saw my email address at the beginning of this video. You may also send a question to our information line, info@thecwsa.org. If you are a Japanese competitor and therefore a member of CWSA Japan, you may send an email to info@cwsa.jp in Japanese, and someone from CWSA Japan will help you with your question. If you are a member of CWSA Russia, you may also send an email in Russian to the email address that appears on the screen. That concludes this Drop-In 45 format writers meeting. The best of luck to every competitor in each of these events and for the entirety of this 2022 competitive season.